launch you out of that slump and launch you into your best life. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I don't know about you, but recently I have been feeling very overwhelmed, low energy, drained, stress. Needless to say, I'm just in a little slump right now. With it being the middle of summer, it's super hot out and I just feel tired and drained a lot. But if you're feeling the same way, don't worry. I got you. We're gonna get out of this together. Today's video is all about how I get out of a slump and the 5 steps to help you get your energy back, get your motivation back, and get inspired again. I just want to preface this video by saying, if you are really struggling mentally and emotionally, I'm not a therapist, and I always recommend reaching out to a therapist if you have the resources and you're able to. But these are the 5 steps that I personally take whenever I am feeling down and low energy, just to kind of get myself out of it and get myself back on track. But without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Before we can even think about setting goals and what we're gonna do in the future, we have to take care of ourselves in the present first. This is going to get us actually out of that slump and out of that bad headspace, so then we can go and really set those goals and have a good foundation for actually achieving them. And this includes 3 steps: your space, your body, and your mind. For each category, I'm going to present a couple of habits and little behaviors that you can implement right now into your daily routine to help you get out of this slump and out of this headspace. But I also want to say that there's going to be a lot of different things here, and don't feel like you have to implement them all at once. If you're already low energy, like I know I am when I'm in a slump, doing all of these things at once will probably feel really overwhelming and not make you want to continue. So instead, I recommend that you pick maybe one of each category of these habits to implement right now, and as you go on you can add in more, maybe 2 more things as your energy builds back up. That way we're creating a really strong foundation to go out and be who we want to become and live our best lives and get out of this slump. So let's start with your space. And now this is the physical environment all around you. Maybe your room or your house or your apartment or wherever you spend a majority of your time. You need to make sure it's clean, organized, and that it inspires you. It's been proven through psychology that when we have a messy or disorganized space, that reflects directly in our behaviors and in our brains. So we need to make sure that the space that we're living in matches who we want to become, and we need to make sure that it's tidy, clean, and organized to get us in the best headspace as possible to start this journey of getting out of the slump. Now there's so many ways that you can do this, the most simple ones being just clean up your room, tidy up your desk, maybe put your laundry away or do your laundry, cleaning out your closet and donating old clothes that you don't wear, or taking out maybe some things you don't even use in your drawers, just to clean and organize that space so then your energy feels less overwhelmed and you feel a lot better as a result. Another favorite tactic of mine is just reorganizing or redecorating, and this I feel just helps me feel so much more inspired. When you're trying to change in the same environment and it looks exactly the same, it's going to be so much harder for you if everything around you doesn't change either. It's also been proven that when your space physically changes, it signals to your brain, okay, we're a new person now. It's time to change. It's time to adapt to this new environment. I find that whenever I maybe just like reorganize my desk or even like wear a new style of clothing, I already am so much more inspired to change and to leave behind all that negative energy in the past because we don't need it anymore. Now let's move on to taking care of your body. First, we want to make sure that our hygiene is in check so that we can actually physically feel our best. Taking that everything shower, really getting into your skincare routine too. Those are 2 great options and things that you can add into your routine. Adding gentle movement into your daily routine is so beneficial, and I will never shut up about it because it does wonders for your mental and physical health. There have been studies that have shown that even just a 10-minute gentle walk a day can literally transform your mental health and put you in such a better mood. So I really recommend walking if you want to add just a small movement practice into your daily routine, because it's really easy. Most of the time it's convenient and it doesn't take that much time like going to the gym. It's just a really easy way to implement some sort of exercise into your day-to-day. Some other things that are also great are yoga because that also really helps with your mindfulness, and stretching, once again, because they're just light, easy, good for your body, and quick, simple things to do. Finally, you have to drink your water. Drink your water. Stay hydrated. We all know water is so good for you, but even I always forget to drink my water, and that it's literally like the best thing you can do for your body. Commit to staying hydrated. Maybe set like a goal for how much water you want to drink a day. Try to keep track and set a reminder on your phone for when you should drink water. I have that, and it does actually really help. And finally, you should eat a variety of whole, nourishing foods. Now, I don't mean to cut out certain food groups or to avoid eating certain things. We should add in whole nutritious foods to our diet to make sure that our bodies are getting adequate nutrition and the good vitamins and minerals that we need to stay healthy, happy, and energized. We do not want to restrict ourselves. Instead, we just want to make sure that we are getting the nutrition we need. So maybe that's adding just an extra serving of veggies to your dinner or having fruit as a snack. And the last thing we need to do to take care of ourselves in the present is take care of our mind and our mindset. The reason we might fall into a slump or fall into just feeling bad, feeling kind of weird, and the vibes are off is because we feel overwhelmed or overworked. There's a lot of other things that can cause feeling like this, of course, but at least in my experience and from the people I've talked to, feeling overwhelmed is really a very common cause of this, and you might not even realize it. You could subconsciously feel overwhelmed if you're anxious about a project that's coming up, scrolling too much on social media and consuming too much information, and that just causes your brain to kind of get all scrambled. You can't focus on anything because it's trying to process so many things at once, and so we just shut down and don't process anything and don't want to do anything, and it just drains our energy. Overall, bad vibes. Not a good situation. So how can we kind of get back out of this and reverse this? It's all about getting it out, cleansing our mind, quiet down those thoughts and that mental chatter that's going on in the background. I just want to emphasize that I am not a therapist before we move on. So if you are seriously struggling mentally or emotionally, or you just feel like you could benefit from talking to someone, I always recommend going to therapy if you can and talking it out with someone. I just wanted to add that in because I feel like a lot of times it's overlooked or people think or they're not in a bad enough state. Therapy can help anyone. Just talking it out with anyone who is trained to do so is so beneficial. So if you have access and the resources, I totally recommend going to therapy if you are really struggling. Here are some things that you can do to help cultivate that energy back up and get you feeling motivated and ready to take on your goals again. Number one, start a meditation practice. What I mentioned about feeling overwhelmed earlier, meditation is actually going to do the opposite of that. Meditation is great for just calming down your body, calming down your mind, quieting those thoughts, and just focusing on you in the present, which is what we need to do to get out of this state. This can be so simple as just a quick little 5-minute meditation right when you wake up or before you go to bed, whenever you really want. Making sure that you have those moments of quiet and stillness to kind of cleanse your brain and decompress is so important. Speaking of decompressing, I always love a good brain dump in a journal to just get anything that you might be thinking about onto paper and out of your mind. This is also really good for feeling overwhelmed because you can get everything out onto the paper, and so you're not constantly thinking about it and trying to process it. It's all right there in front of you, which makes it a lot easier to contextualize and just come to terms with, you know what, this might not be that bad, or I'm thinking about this and it's totally irrational. Why am I thinking about this? So just write out anything on paper. You can make this as emotional as possible. You can really like get into it and set the mood, light some candles, play some music, just get everything out. That way it's not overwhelming you up here and you can just see it and it's out of your mind. So once we have taken care of ourselves in the present moment, we have to reflect and reset. If you have maybe made a vision board recently or set goals recently, go back and look at what you wrote and look at what you wanted to accomplish. And what you want to focus on here is what has either come into your life or what you have already done. If you haven't done either of these things, that's totally okay. You can just jot down some fun memories or things that you have accomplished recently, and that's going to have the same effect. Ultimately, what we're trying to do here is focus on what we have accomplished and what we have done instead of focusing on all of the things that we still need to do or that we want to do, because focusing on what we haven't done just makes us feel more stressed, more overwhelmed, and just drains our energy. Whereas instead, focusing on what we have done and what we have accomplished gives us that confidence to say, hey, you know what, I've done this, I can go out and I can do that too. So I find that reflecting in that way and revisiting what you've already done really is inspiring and reverses that overwhelm that you're probably feeling if you're in a slump by rechanneling that energy into inspiration and motivation. Once you've done this, get out your journal again and write down a very honest reflection of how you've spent your time in the last few weeks. You really want to kind of audit yourself and evaluate how you've been living, and this is maybe going to help you figure out, okay, what was the cause? And this is really a good way to figure out what you can avoid in the future to stop this from happening, and also what maybe made you feel better at some points to help you get out of it. Now, there might not be a direct cause, which is totally okay. If you can't find that out, don't worry about it. Sometimes we just get in these negative mental states, and that's natural. Sometimes we're going to feel really happy, and sometimes these things just do happen naturally. Also, think about your cycle, because certain times in your cycle can really affect your energy and how you're feeling about yourself. So also keep that in mind as well. So now that we've done all this, we've taken care of ourselves in the present, we've evaluated the past to see what maybe got us into the situation in the first place. Now it's time to focus on how we're getting out of this slump and how we're going to start accomplishing our goals again and feeling inspired. Step 3 is a very simple one, but it is often overlooked and it's actually really powerful. And that is to create some sort of habit tracking system to make sure all of those good behaviors and habits that we've been building up since step 1 remain after we have gotten our energy back and after we've gotten out of this slump. So there's a couple different options you can use for this. There's a lot of habit tracking apps that you can use. One of them is called Habit. That's the one I use. It's really simple. You can also literally just set reminders in the reminder app on your phone. That's also a really easy way to do it. You can also make a physical habit tracker and maybe a journal that already has one set out, or you can make your own if you want to get a little bit creative with it, which is really fun. But just create some sort of system to keep yourself accountable and on track to remember these things and to remind you to, keep doing these behaviors because they're good for you no matter how you're feeling, and they're just going to help you keep feeling better and help you to live your best life every single day. Speaking of your best life, number 4, this is where we're going to create our action plan for our goals. Now, you've probably already heard this approach to goal setting that I'm about to talk about, and that's setting high-level goals, weekly goals, and then daily actions that you can take. This is a goal-setting method that takes these really big and almost impossible to reach goals and breaks them down into little baby steps that you can take, so that way every single day you're actually moving towards accomplishing those big dream goals that you think of. So we want to start off by setting 3 high-level goals. And this means goals that are super broad, super big, and ultimately what you want to achieve. You still want to make sure that they are reasonable and specific enough to achieve. And then once you have your big high-level goal, you want to put in 3 weekly goals. These are more specific targets you want to hit each week that aligns to the bigger goal that ultimately helps you achieve the bigger goal just in smaller steps. You definitely want to make sure that there's some sort of tracking system with these, and that is where your daily actions come in. For each weekly goal, you want to have a few daily non-negotiable actions that help you achieve this certain goal. This is so powerful because these little actions just become your habits, and before you know it, you're accomplishing your goals and you're not even thinking about it. It becomes so easy and you will begin to see so much progress because these responses just become automatic behaviors, but they're actually just helping you on the path towards achieving that high-level goal. And obviously these don't have to stay the same. You can adjust them based on your goals because your goals will change, but ultimately enjoying the process is going to be so much more satisfying than really achieving the goal because the whole thing is the process. And so having this kind of structure to it makes sure that you're staying on track and also helps you celebrate the small wins. So that was a really basic explanation, but I'm going to use a little example to help you see how this could apply in everyday life. Let's say you want to be able to hold a basic conversation in new language by the end of 2024. Now, this goal is obviously specific and measurable because you have a specific action and outcome that you want to achieve, and also you have a deadline by the time you should accomplish it. So if that's your high-level goal, one of your weekly goals could be to learn a new set of vocabulary each week or learn a new set of conjugations each week. And then for your daily action, you could just be to do 30 minutes of self-study a day or an hour of self-study a day. And soon enough, that little action will become so automatic that you're on the path to learning this language and you're not even really thinking about it. And that is the power of this goal setting approach. It makes it so much easier and it takes a lot of the mental stress out of trying to accomplish these big goals because you're breaking it down into little baby steps. And our last step to getting out of this slump is number 5, holding yourself accountable, but also celebrating the small wins. You want to put some sort of system, kind of like our habit tracking. This could be as simple as setting deadlines, setting targets, or any type of measure that you need or applies to the certain goal you're trying to reach. More importantly, getting out of this slump requires that you celebrate yourself and celebrate the small wins too. Kind of like I mentioned before, acknowledging yourself for the things that you've accomplished instead of focusing on all the things you still need to do really helps to inspire you and to feel confident in your own abilities. Once you start to celebrate the small wins, you start to realize how much you actually do and how much potential you really do have because you're not focusing in on all the things that you haven't done or that other people have done and you haven't, or you're feeling behind. Instead, you're just celebrating your own journey for you. You're holding that energy and returning it back to yourself instead of draining it on all these external things that are overstimulating you and stressing you out. So to really get out of this slump and to really get in the groove of achieving and accomplishing these goals that you set for yourself, you have to celebrate your small wins every day and celebrate yourself too. And this positive energy is like a snowball effect. It's going to keep going, which is just going to launch you out of that slump and launch you into your best life. Celebrate yourself. And always remember to be kind and patient with yourself also throughout this process because it is really difficult and it takes a lot of effort and energy, but it is totally worth it, I promise. So that is the end of the video, guys. Again, I gave you a lot of information and a lot of potential things to do, but if you are just starting out and just trying to get out of this headspace, take it slow and go easy on yourself. Also, you don't have to do this all in one day or in one sitting. That is so unrealistic and so overwhelming. So maybe set out maybe a week or a few days to just really commit to yourself and commit to getting back on track and out of this slump. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. So, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you liked it, you can leave a like and comment below. And also remember to subscribe for more content on your best life and being your best self. But with that all being said, thank you all so much for watching again. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.